This episode of Man of Prestige, so that is everything. If you go listen to a guru on YouTube and you bark back at her at the wrong timing, you're gonna hurt your relationship that you actually care about, and the guru will continue to build the next 2 million subscribers. I'm just telling you, okay? And you will continue to have a miserable life, okay? And you never know, the guru could be putting up an act. It could just be part of the showmanship. Okay, so you gotta be this part of the part that you have to learn how to read and learn how to apply some of the things you may be learning online. Internet is a beautiful place, but it's a bathroom wall. Anyone can slap anything up, right? Including myself. So anything I tell you, take it with a pinch of salt. But I want to share this 8 S&Ps with you of the masculine frame, that you, as the masculine frame or masculine core, as the rock. If you're going to be the rock of a particular relationship context, romantic relationship context, you have to bring these things to the table. The S&Ps of the masculine frame. This is a very, very important lesson for you, okay? I'm just going to dive right into it. The masculine frame is absolutely necessary, especially in this time and age. See, back in the days, maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, some things were natural because the women depended on the man for a lot of things from a physical real life standpoint, okay? And at that time there was less need for a certain level of emotional leadership, okay? Back then, the very fact that they depended on the man for survivorship, for protection, for providing for them, right, and their kids, that was a big part of that social construct, that society back then. But things have changed. Women can work, women have a voice, and the problem is that, in my opinion, men are not moving fast enough. They're not stepping up fast enough to occupy the still much needed leadership role in society. Because the problem is that at the end of the day, there is such a thing called masculine and feminine energy, and it's needed to create sexual polarity, period. Like, we don't get to argue with that, okay? Now, where it belongs, where the masculine energy belongs, if it's in a man or a woman, I believe that can change over time. I believe that's more fluid than we would like to admit. Most men think masculine means man. No, it doesn't. It's not equivalent. We all have masculine and feminine energy in us. Either you're a man or a woman, okay? However, in this society that we're still living right now, in this social construct, the man is expected and is programmed, even him himself is programmed to bring the masculine frame to the context, to the relationship. And the woman tends to be the one to be on the receiving end of that. But receiving is not just receiving. The feminine energy multiplies whatever you give to it and reciprocates, because it basically builds the home. The masculine frame sets the tone, the feminine energy builds the home. So if you're looking for peace as a gentleman, it's all a function of what you bring to the table. Now, could a young lady bring some terrible bad experiences and trauma to the table as well? Yes. But with the right type of leadership, naturally they will submit. And I say naturally, but naturally means the right context, environment has to be present. Okay? So if her first instinct is to bark at you, I'm just saying, for example, right? Your response to how she barked at you is going to make all the difference, right? Depending on the situation, there are multiple variables that could be going on, right? You may say, hey, bark at her back, right? And never allow a lady to talk to you like that. And that could actually be you being in your feminine easily, right? A lot of people think that was masculine. No, it's not. That doesn't make you alpha male either. It just makes you reactive, angry, you're operating in your emotions, and actually more so than anything, feminine. Okay? So it's not every time that you have to bark back. There are certain times, again, it's about learning how to read the room, read the emotional and social vibes in the room. In that context, there are certain times that you absolutely cannot tolerate disrespect of any type, especially if this is a stranger. However, if you've engaged a young lady in a way that's romantic, that she's shown some feminine energy and you liked it, and somehow you find yourself in the middle of a crisis, how you respond to that is everything. If you go listen to a guru on YouTube and you bark back at her at the wrong timing, you're going to hurt your relationship that you actually care about, and the guru will continue to build the next 2 million subscribers. I'm just telling you, okay? And you will continue to have a miserable life, okay? And you never know, the guru could be putting up an act. It could just be part of the showmanship, okay? So you gotta be, this part of the part that you have to learn how to read and learn how to apply some of the things you may be learning online. Online, internet is a beautiful place, but it's a bathroom wall. Anyone can slap anything up, right? Including myself. So anything I tell you, take it with a pinch of salt. But I want to share this 8 S&Ps with you of the masculine frame, that you, as the masculine frame or masculine core, as the rock, if you're going to be the rock of a particular relationship context, romantic relationship context, you have to bring these things to the table, okay? And they're called the 4 S&Ps. And if you don't bring them to the table, it's going to create a void, okay? And the feminine energy will need that in order not to be in a chaotic situation. So at first, she may find herself in a chaotic situation, which is what you interpret as she's being masculine, and then eventually she will exit. And that may not be what you want. If that's what you want, then obviously we don't have any conversations to have, right? But if that's not what you want, that's too badly. But if you're listening to this, you can write this down. Number 8, the masculine frame is the sower. You sow the seed. You are the seed sower, okay? You are the seed sower of the equation. What is a seed sower when it comes to agriculture and farming? You plant, you sow seeds, and you expect that you're going to be able to get some reward later, right? But you sow the seed. The feminine energy does not sow the seed. Another way of saying this is that you set the tone. Whatever is happening in that relationship, you set the tone. Oh, here we go again. We're going to blame the man. Yes, precisely, if that's how you want to interpret that. For me, it's a leverage point. It's something that I actually love because it puts a lot of things in my control, okay? So if you want to be in control, you have to let go, okay? Number 7, safety. You bring safety, but precisely you bring the feeling of safety into the context, into the relationship. You bring that to the table, okay? Stop worrying so much about what they bring to the table. You bring this 8 S&Ps to the table. Trust me, they will bring multiply that up. They will bring that to the table. Let's go on to 6th thing. The 6th S&P thing that the masculine frame brings to the table is security. It's not necessarily security. Again, a lot of young ladies, a lot of modern women can buy themselves securities, okay? It's a feeling of security. It's an emotional thing. If you get stuck on the physical, this is where your facts and your feelings, fact over feeling things will fail, because we're talking more so about feelings and emotions than anything physical. And the young lady still needs to feel safe and secure. And you can do that. You have the ability to do that if you bring these things to the table, right? The 5th S&P that the masculine frame brings to the table is structure. The feminine energy is chaotic by nature without structure. It craves structure from masculine frame. All right, good. The 4th P, now we're in the P's now. The first S, the first 4 was S's. The last 4 is going to be P, is you provide. Now, a lot of people, again, you're going to get stuck here that, do I need to get rich? I need to keep my eyes on the bag? No, it has nothing to do with that for the most part. Of course, it's helpful if you can be, if you make sure you're in your own purpose, because that's another P that you can bring to the table, purpose, okay? But that can fall under any one of these categories as well, right? But the point is that if you're in your purpose, that and you're making money, that can make her feel extra safe and secure, right? Obviously. But the key word is still feel, okay? So back to provide. We're talking about providing emotional stability. A lot of people get stuck with the money part. 6 figures, blah, blah, blah. Nonsense. You can absolutely survive on $40,000 and $50,000 a year. Depends on what you're buying. Depends on what kind of discipline you have, right? If you cannot be disciplined with $50,000 a year, you cannot be disciplined with $1 million a year. It doesn't really matter, okay? The same behavior is just going to be transplanted and multiplied. That's all, okay? 3, the third, but definitely not the least, P that the masculine frame brings to the table is to protect. But again, feeling. She needs to feel like she's protected. When she's around you, when she knows that you're at home, when she knows that she can call you and pick up, she can feel safe and protected. So protection is part of the things you bring to the table, but it's more so on, does she feel protected around you? Or that's a void and she needs to go to her sister to feel protected. Like I was just watching a show where the lady keep running back to her sister to tell her everything, and the guy is confused. Why does she keep going back? Because she feels safer. You need to find out why she feels protected and safer with her sister. Okay, so you bring protect, but again, purpose. Okay, you can replace any one of this with purpose. Okay, process. Okay, this is a process. Okay, this is a process. I'm gonna add 2 additional bonus P's here. Okay, I'll tell you in a minute what those bonus P's are, right? And I'm actually taking that note as I'm talking right now because again, this is very important. Okay, everything is a process. As a farmer, right, as a agricultural expert, you own a big farm, right? You understand that when you sow seeds, remember you're a seed sower, right? When you sow seeds, there are seasons. You have to protect it, right? You have to nurture it, right? So you may say the nurture thing. No, you actually nurture the seeds. You do that. It's going to protect itself at some point, right? If you understand farming enough, it does protect itself at some point. But in the beginning, you have to like kind of protect it, right? You do enough of that, it's going to start replicating, and then that's a process. The masculine frame understands process. So because you've been so faithful with everything that Allah said for the last 3 days and it didn't work, and then you gave up, you fell off, you got into your feminine, you did not understand process. Okay, and there's another P you didn't understand. I'll talk about that right now, and that will be patience. Infinite patience. Infinite patience. If you don't have patience, right, there are going to be times that things looks like they're going wrong, and how you respond to that is everything. Now if you can respond to that with some patience, that's the masculine frame right there. If you confuse patience with being a simp, that's the feminine energy right there. You cannot have 2 feminine energy at the same time. That's chaotic. Okay, that's chaotic. Being loud does not equal to alpha male. I need to keep saying that. I'm seeing way too many people just loud and they call it alpha masculine. No, it is not. Okay, it is not. Even if you have to check a young lady, there are ways to do it where you remain your masculine core, right? Hey babe, I appreciate if you do it this way. She got what you said, right? Oh yeah, you sugar quoted because you're simping. That's what leaders do. Leaders focus more so on making sure the messages land than what they're saying. There is a message. You need to focus on making sure that the message lands rather than fulfilling your feelings. You're in your feelings. You're in your feminine energy, and you're more so particular about fulfilling that. This is anger more than actually making sure that the message lands. The message is that you don't like how she treated you. You understand that there's strategies to make sure you replace that, because there's no vacuum. You replace that with what you want, and not just talk about what you don't want. You talk about what you don't want, it's going to backfire 100% of the time. You're going to attract more of that type of energy. The bonus, just in case you didn't know, was purpose. Okay, the masculine frame is driven by purpose. The purpose is something that the feminine energy needs to remain in its feminine. If there is no purpose, the feminine energy will try to find purpose, and that's usually chaotic. Okay, usually, not all the time, but usually chaotic, and she will get into a masculine because she's trying to protect. I'm using she for feminine, but the feminine energy, right? It's trying to protect itself. It's trying to feel safer. It's trying to create the purpose. And now you're going to start to overreact because you feel like the feminine energy is not allowing you to lead. But the problem starts with you haven't sown the seed, you haven't been patient enough, you haven't understood the 8 SMPs of the masculine frame.